Hello there, good evening. Welcome to Look North, our top story tonight. Thrilling the fans and inspiring the next generation, Sheffield celebrates a triumphant night as England's Lionesses roar into the final of the Euros.
Brilliant, absolutely fantastic. Loved it.
It was amazing, it was a great view.
That was absolutely a stunning performance.
And we meet the little girl from Knaresborough whose celebration summed up the mood of the nation. Also tonight, making it look easy. The Doncaster weightlifter preparing for the Commonwealth Games and proving you don't have to be big to be strong. And today I joined the first leg of the annual charity bike ride in memory of Joe Cox. The toughest 20 miles, of course.
Well, it turned out to be a very pleasant day. This was Leeds at lunchtime, but what about the next few days? Join me for the detailed forecast.
Well, what a night it was last night. A night to remember in Sheffield as England's Lionesses roared into the final of the Euros. A triumphant 4-0 win over the tournament's favourites, Sweden, has set the squad on the march for Wembley. The team, 5 players from our region, delighted fans at Bramall Lane and are inspiring the next generation. Here's Mark Ansell with a roundup.
To do, but as you can tell, unbelievable atmosphere. We're ecstatic to win the final.
Sheffield's George Bronze was at Bramall Lane last night. Seeing his sister Lucy score was a really special moment for the family.
Lucy turns up for big games, so her putting her head on that ball, killing the game off is kind of matter of course for her, but for us on the sidelines, we just went insane. You know, I had my kids on my shoulders, nearly falling into the crowd. I had like stewards being worried about my 1-year-old, but my 1-year-old was the one screaming the most about it. So we were just amazed. We were just like unbelievably proud to see her do it.
That was absolutely a stunning performance.
It's an amazing atmosphere, wasn't it? Yeah. So good to be with all these other people from across Sheffield.
Brilliant, absolutely fantastic. Loved it.
It was amazing, it was a great view.
It's nice to just come out with the kids and just have a bit of fun and it just be a really friendly, nice atmosphere for everyone.
This is what sport should be about, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And it was so lovely to see so many children there last night. Mark joins us now live from Sheffield United's academy, where the women's team, many of whom were there last night, are back in training today. They must be absolutely thrilled, Mark.
Oh, absolutely. What an atmosphere it was in Sheffield last night. I spent the first half at Bramall Lane and the second half at the fan party where we filmed those interviews there. And my goodness, it was electric. The best thing since the Tour de France came here in 2014. Let's have a chat with a couple of people who know a lot about the women's game. A couple of Sheffield United players, Thea and Courtney. Thea, you were at the game last night at Bramall Lane. What was it like?
Yeah, it was an amazing experience, something I won't forget. Even seeing floods of people as we were walking to the stadium, it was something I've not seen before for a women's game. And to top it off, it was a great performance by the Lionesses.
What impact do you hope this will have on the women's game nationally, but also here in South Yorkshire, where there have been 8 games in Rotherham and Sheffield?
Yeah, I think personally for us, we're going to be playing at the Lane this season, so we're hoping that transfers in terms of getting those fans that were there last night and the last few games over to our games, hopefully. But the massive thing, but it's about inspiring the next generation, isn't it? It's been great. I was around the city yesterday, and you're seeing parents with their children. They've all got the shirts on, both boys and girls. So I think that's the big thing about inspiring the next generation. It's not just the girls as well. I think the way that the boys are now, just they'll be able to see the major tournament on the television is so important, because when we was growing up, you could only see the men's tournaments.
And what about for you, Thea? Has it been inspiring for you as a player yourself?
Yeah, definitely. I think, as touching on what Court said, it's something we wouldn't have seen when we were a bit younger. So to have that for the younger generation coming up, I think it's really positive.
And, this progress that the women's team have made to get to a final after making it to 3 semi-finals of the major tournaments, do you feel they could go all the way now and win on Sunday?
Yeah, I feel that it's a big opportunity for them. I think what Serena Wiegmann's come in and done, she's given the girls confidence. We've always had the ability, but that freedom going forward, I think it's just for all. I think the third goal, especially obviously Alessia Russo's goal, the confidence and the audacity to try that in that moment is huge. And obviously she's instilling that calmness and also the confidence within all the players.
What about for you, Thea?
Yeah, again, touching what Court said there, that even the goals, the calibre of players we've got now, I think it's something everyone can look up to, no matter what your age is. And just seeing it live on the pitch was amazing, yeah.
It was an incredible atmosphere in Sheffield yesterday, and the tournament's been brilliant, but it's really important to capitalise on this and get more girls playing football, isn't it? Because there's still a gap there, isn't there, in terms of the number of boys playing versus the number of girls playing. How can the game grow even bigger?
I think a lot of it goes right back from the start to schools. I was very lucky when I was young in terms of I had teachers that always encouraged me to be able to do that, where, we're still hearing stories in 2022 of girls not being able to play football because they've not got a girls team, or, it's not in that side of the curriculum and they're asked to play netball instead of football. So that's the big thing. I think we've seen such big strides in the top of the game in terms of the WSL and the Championship because of that investment. But for me, the grassroots below that and the pyramid is so important, and that's where we've got to focus next.
Do you think it will make a difference, Thea? Do you think more girls will play?
Yeah, 100%. I think when you see it on TV and you're seeing the investments that are going into it and the amount of money they're pumping into it to make it a bigger and better sport, I think it's only a matter of time that it fully kicks off.
Great stuff. Thank you very much, Thea and Courtney, and best of luck with the new season, which starts next month. And get this, Sheffield United women will be playing at Bramall Lane next season. So if this has whetted your appetite for the women's game, and surely it has for everyone, then get yourself down the lane to watch some Sheffield United women matches.
Yeah, hopefully they'll see a crowd similar to what we saw last night. That'd be wonderful, wouldn't it? Thanks, Mark. Now, if you were watching the game on the BBC last night, then I'm sure this will have brought a smile to your face. This is 8-year-old Tess from Knaresborough. Oh, she's frozen there, but if you saw it, then you'll know who I'm talking about. She was singing and dancing her little heart out to Sweet Caroline after the final whistle. She certainly captured the nation's heart and became a bit of a social media star in the process. We tracked her down, and her mum Sam, and I asked them what they thought it was like inside the stadium last night.
It felt very exciting, and when I was walking down the street, I couldn't stop jumping up and down.
Oh, and you've now turned into a bit of a superstar like the Lionesses, because that lovely clip of you celebrating has gone everywhere. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel really weird because obviously I didn't wake up and think I was going to be on Zooms every single second.
What do you make of it all, Mum? It's a bit bizarre, isn't it?
This was not the day I expected, Amy. But no, I mean, Tess is Tess. Tess, what you see in that clip is Tess all over. She's, she's a lovely, I call her my sunshine, and she's so excited about the Euros. She's so excited about football in general. She's a great little player. So yeah, but I went to bed with a tweet on BBC Sport, and then I got up to madness on my phone. So yeah, I think everyone has empathised with the dancing and because, life's a bit tough at the minute, isn't it? And it's nice to have that kind of few minutes away from it. And I think Tess delivered that for the nation last night.
I think you sum up everything that lots of people are feeling about the Euros and about the women's team, Tess. Tell me, what do you think of the Lionesses?
I think they're amazing, and I feel like they've inspired a lot of people.
So tell me, the weekend, what are your plans? Where are you going to be watching the final?
Well, we're hoping to go, Amy. There's rumours that we might be able to go because we haven't got tickets. We were having a big barbecue at Grandma's, weren't we? Yeah. A big celebration, but fingers crossed, we may be able to go. So
Tess, is this what fame has brought you? Free tickets to Wembley?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, I tell you what, you're not going to forget this summer holiday in a long time, are you?
No, definitely not.
Will you let us know what Wembley was like if you do get there?
Yeah, definitely.
We'll talk to you Monday. Thanks, Tess.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Absolutely wonderful. You're watching Wednesday's Look North, still to come on tonight's programme. As another day of strike action on our rails comes to a close, the government is urged to reconsider plans for HS2 and the Northern Powerhouse Rail. I want to tell you now about the police watchdog, the IOPC. They've started an investigation after a man died and 3 others were arrested following a disturbance at a city centre jewellers. North Yorkshire police officers were called to the Mappin and Webb store in York just before 5 p.m. yesterday. Peter Harris has this.
Within minutes, police and paramedics were swarming round this city centre jewellers.
It was the police and the way there was really aggressive. Not in a bad way. I don't mean that. It was out the way. It was like they was panicking at first. So that's what made us panic. Me and my colleague, we actually locked the door. It was worrying, I can tell you that. And then obviously we've since found out today that sadly it was worse than what we did think at the time.
The police say after a disturbance, a 39-year-old man named as Samuel Diatta had been restrained at the jewellers by a member of shop staff and the public North Yorkshire Police say he got into medical difficulties and later died.
A relative was caught up in it. What did she say?
Well, she was very shocked and upset and just came when somebody was getting CPR on him, and she just went off. She got out of the way. She just was frightened. And not only that, because she had the baby with her, and it was sad.
Well, North Yorkshire Police today said there are 3 men in custody as a result of what they're calling a disturbance here at the Jewellers. They say 2 men in their 40s have been arrested and another in their 50s. This inquiry is still ongoing, but they are asking anybody who was in this area around the Jewellers at 20 to 5 yesterday afternoon to get in touch.
The 3 arrested have been bailed pending investigations. Today the Mappin and Webb Jewellers was closed. In a statement, the company said, "Our thoughts are with the client's family at this time. We're assisting the police with their investigation and providing support to our colleagues and clients." The Independent Office for Police Conduct has received a mandatory referral from the police because the dead man's condition deteriorated after officers arrived. North Yorkshire Police say officers are supporting the dead man's family. Peter Harris, BBC Look North, York.
Some more news now from across our region. A 13-year-old girl is in hospital after being stabbed in the abdomen in Sheffield last night. It happened in Hillsborough Park at 9 o'clock. The girl is said to be in a stable condition. A 13-year-old boy has been arrested on suspicion of attempted murder. Police investigating the death of a young mother of 2 from Belden have charged a man with murder. Lauren Howe, who was 26, died in hospital on Sunday morning after an incident on Airway. Charlie Booth, who's 27, has been charged with her murder. West Yorkshire Police have referred themselves to the Independent Office for Police Conduct because they'd received a report linked to the case before Lauren's death. A 20-year-old man has been found guilty of an arson attack on a Calderdale primary school that caused £4.5 million worth of damage. You may remember Ash Green Primary was devastated in the blaze in February. The jury was shown CCTV of Aaron Foster breaking into the school. He later re-entered the burning building and had to be rescued by emergency services. He was also found guilty of setting fire to Mixenden Library in 2020. Foster was remanded in custody and will be sentenced in October. The main street in Tadcaster flooded after blocked drains overflowed with rainwater last night. The town's flood action group said overflowing drains were to blame as the river's water levels had been low at the time due to the long spell of dry weather. Bridge Street reopened early this morning after emergency services used pumps to drain away the water. North Yorkshire County Council said a blockage in the system combined with heavy rainfall may have caused the problem. Now, there was disruption for rail passengers today and warnings not to travel unless absolutely necessary as the RMT union began another day of strike action. It's after talks over pay, jobs and terms and conditions failed following the biggest rail strikes in 30 years. Back in June. The government has accused the RMT of being hell-bent on creating misery for passengers, while the union has accused the government of not allowing train operators to make the concessions necessary to end the dispute. Now, here's what some of the passengers in Leeds have told us.
I think there are alternative ways of taking action, and the impact is not against the rail service, it's against passengers.
I can see it from both sides, from the people that work at the station, and you know they put a lot of work in and they want more money. I understand that, but it is impactful.
Now, speaking of rail travel, and Yorkshire has been let down by the government's plan to improve rail services. That's according to some of its own MPs. The Transport Select Committee says that a new station in Bradford should be considered again, and the HS2 to Leeds must be a priority. Our political editor James Vincent is in Bradford for us now. James, we've had lots of reports about this for the past 10 years, really, haven't we been hearing about it? How different is this news today?
Well, this one is significant, Amy, because it's not just one party saying this. This is a report from both sides of the House of Commons, parties and MPs from both sides. And the chair of the committee that's published this report is actually a Conservative MP. And what they're effectively saying is we're not sure whether this government has got their plans for rail in the north right. They want them to reconsider HS2. They want them to improve Leeds Station, and they want to look at building a new station again at Bradford. Some of those plans have been put forward already, but they were knocked back by the government late last year. And there's a real feeling here that maybe some of those projects could be reinstated. This is what the chair of the committee told me earlier today.
So HS2 no longer going to Leeds. The entire business case only stacked up for HS2 as a whole if it went up to Leeds. The expectations were there'd be a brand new line between Manchester and Leeds. Now it's an upgrade. And the issue for the upgrade is that it won't allow Bradford to get its brand new station, which would redevelop Bradford as a whole. So there are just opportunities there to review the business case, review the options, because we have to bear in mind that the Prime Minister promised to do for the North with Northern Powerhouse Rail what he did for Londoners with Crossrail. And I'm afraid to say that's just not happening with the current government plan.
Realistically, James, is there likely to be any change?
Well, the key two words there were Prime Minister. Of course, we've got one Prime Minister at the moment, Boris Johnson. In a few weeks' time, we will have another Prime Minister, a different Prime Minister, a choice of two for Conservative Party members, and it will depend very much on what they think. Earlier this month, when we got a new Chancellor and new Levelling Up Minister, I contacted the Treasury to say, do they have different opinions on the Northern Powerhouse Rail or HS2? Might things change under their watch? And they had really nothing to say to me. I think they're waiting to find out who their new boss is. But if there is the potential for a new station in Bradford and the potential for that new line across the Pennines to Manchester, well, people in Bradford, they're quite looking forward to that opportunity to put in their case again.
It's not too late to change their minds. We've got a new Prime Minister coming in, and one of the first things we'll be doing is writing them to say, just have a look at this situation again. We know, because we've done the work, that we'd create another 30 billion GVA for the economy in Bradford and north of England, another 27,000 jobs. We've got a size of land here which is 3 times the size of Canary Wharf, likely to be developed at a really good advantage for people of Bradford and the north. Let's get on with the development if you really believe in levelling up opportunities.
The government's had its say on this report today. They say that £96 billion will transform the railways in this country. And they've actually had a bit of a go at this report, saying that it significantly underplayed the benefits of what they had to announce late last year. But we'll wait to see who the new Prime Minister is, who the new Transport Secretary is, who the new Treasurer is, and maybe we'll find out exactly what will happen with rail in the north.
Who knows, James? Let's hope so. Thank you. Wow, what a summer it's been so far for sport, hey? The opening ceremony of the Commonwealth Games is tomorrow, and one of our regional athletes competing there is 23-year-old weightlifter from Doncaster, Freya Morrow. At 4'11" and weighing in at just 55 kilos, she's proving that you don't have to be big to be strong. Sally Hurst has been to meet her.
You don't have to look a certain way to be able to do weightlifting. Like, with the different weight classes, everyone can give it a go. Like, the smallest weight class is 49 kilo, but the heaviest weight class is 87 plus, and there's girls lifting in them classes that weigh 120 kilos, so weightlifting's for everyone.
Weightlifting is growing in popularity with women. There are now more female members of British weightlifting than male. And Freya's path into the sport started as a child.
I started in gymnastics and then moved over to CrossFit, and then from CrossFit I just liked the weight side instead of the cardio side, so just stuck to the weight training, and then turned out I had a bit of a talent for it.
The idea that weightlifters can eat huge volumes of food is a myth. With the Commonwealth Games fast approaching, Freya actually needs to lose weight to fit in her category.
Even though I'm having to lose the weight, we still want my energy to be up there, and obviously I've still got training sessions to do, so I still need to have the energy to be able to train, but still lose the weight at the same time.
That sounds like really hard work.
Yeah, it can be, but because there's a goal at the end of it, it doesn't seem as hard as it probably is.
Lifting heavy weights is as much about the mindset as the muscle.
Like, some people get really angry, but because I'm not an angry person, that just doesn't work for me. I'd rather just like chill out, relax, get my thoughts together, think about what I'm doing, and then lift the bar. That seems to work for me.
Just lift
then
the
you
bar.
can celebrate after, yeah.
Freya came 5th in the last Commonwealth Games in the Gold Coast. This time, she's aiming to get on the podium.
I'm looking forward to the experience again. From the past one, I know what the games are like, and the experience is just, it's not like any other competition. And then for the outcome, obviously, I'm a competitor, so I'm going for gold.
Sally Hurst, BBC Look North, Castleford.
Oh, wow, good luck, Freya. She's a pocket rocket, isn't she? The annual Yorkshire to London charity bike ride in honour of the murdered MP Jo Cox is underway. There are a record number of cyclists this year. They set off from Cleckheaton this morning on a 288-mile ride to London. Ouch, arriving on Sunday. I joined them for a short 20-mile ride this morning. 75 cyclists arrived at the Princess Mary Stadium in Cleckheaton this morning for the start of their epic ride. Among them, Imam and bike mechanic Irfan. He was roped into doing the Jo Cox Way 5 years ago, and now there's no stopping him.
It's an amazing atmosphere. Why would you not want to come back? So I've been coming back every single year. So we've set up 2 cycling clubs since, and most of the events around them 2 cycling clubs are around charity events, and we do loads of charity bike rides. This one of the best ones.
Why do you do it? What do you get out of it?
It's mental health, good physical health, meeting people like this.
The ride from Yorkshire to London was set up in 2016 in memory of MP Jo Cox, who was murdered in her constituency of Batley and Spen, and it grows year on year.
To me, this is Jo's legacy. It's bringing people from all different walks of life who bond and make friends as they drive around the country.
This embodies Jo's values, it embodies everything that I believe in, everything that we were taught as kids and brought up to believe in. And it shows that people want an opportunity to do something positive and they want an opportunity to come together.
And you're going to be with the cyclists, but not necessarily on a bike.
So I'm doing the first little bit, and then I'm going to be giving out flapjacks and bananas, which is a very important job, Amy.
Kath Lyons will be riding the full 288 miles. At the age of 76, she's the oldest cyclist here.
I'm used to riding long days and it doesn't particularly worry me, but at the same time I'm apprehensive, will you keep up with everybody? The usual things that we all worry about.
I'm only doing 10 miles, I'm worried I won't keep up with everyone.
And we're off. But it's not until 2 hours later, in Horbury, that I finally catch up with Kath.
Like a rocket. Are you going to be in the leading group then?
No, I'm in the slow group.
No, you're not.
No point in pushing yourself. There's no kudos in heart attacks.
Today's leg is 60 miles to Buxton in the Peak District. I'm with them for the first 20, and it's harder than I expected.
I'm stopping after this hill. This lot have got another 40 miles to go today, and then another 200 and odd. I don't know how they're going to do it.
Kath is taking it all in her stride.
What do you get out of cycling?
A feeling of feeling younger, certainly, and feeling happy, quite honestly.
Well, this is where I'll leave you, Kath, so best of luck with the rest of the journey.
OK, thanks a lot. Take care and thanks, Amy.
See you later, Kath. Bye.
Bye.
That was really difficult. I said in there 10 miles. The 10 miles turned into 20 miles. I was told by my producer it was 10 miles and it turned out to be 20.
Well, the incline was like that and you got overtaken by a 76-year-old.
The incline was nearly a mile long. She did. She left me for dust. She was amazing.
Right. I've got some pictures to show you. Let's have a look at Wensleydale. You remember we showed you a couple of pictures 2 weeks ago of a dry Aysgarth Falls. Remember, it's been the driest start to any year since 1976. Well, there's been a bit of rain in the last few days, and that is a replenished Aysgarth Falls there up in Wensleydale. There was some heavy showers last night, which added to that. So that's a little bit of good news. Another fact for you, it's been the driest July so far since 1911. Right, let's have a look at a couple of pictures that you've sent in. That was a bit of fog, almost an autumnal look there from Ilkley Moor this morning. That was taken at 5:20. Well done, Neil, for getting up that early. And a couple of more river pictures. That's the River Wharf from Burnsall, looking very low. And a little bit further up in Upper Wharfdale, that's Hebden, very shallow indeed. So obviously things are still very dry. Pictures If you want to send them to the addresses on your screen, I'll try and get them on the telly tomorrow night. So the headline for tomorrow is quite a cloudy one, actually. There'll be a lot of cloud, a bit of patchy rain in the forecast as well. That will fizzle through the morning. It turns brighter through the afternoon. So high pressure hanging on in there, but we will see some fairly weak fronts coming through over the weekend. So there is, again, a bit of patchy rain in the forecast, but also some drier and decent brighter spells too. So a mixed picture over the next few days. Now, this is the weak weather front, bringing a lot of cloud. There's currently some patchy outbreaks of rain across the Midlands, so that will continue to track northwards overnight, bringing some outbreaks of rain. The odd heavier burst in there, if you're lucky, mainly in western areas. The further east you go, you're going to see very little, if any, rain at all. Temperatures 13 or 14 degrees. So tomorrow's high water times then, Filey 5:05, Bridlington at 17 minutes past 5. So a cloudy, damp start. These overnight showery outbreaks of rain moving away steadily northwards through the morning. Then the afternoon looks mostly dry, a little bit brighter in places. Always a risk of the odd shower in the west. I think the best of any brightness always towards the east coast. Top temperatures close to normal at 20 or 21 degrees. Let's have a look at that all-important further outlook. Well, Friday looks a nice day. A cloudy start, but it soon brightens up with some sunshine in the afternoon. And then, as I say, a bit mixed over the weekend. Some patchy rain at first on Saturday and maybe again on Sunday. Drier, brighter later. And a bit of on the unsettled side early next week too. That's the forecast.
Just been told by the producer they've signed you up to do the whole thing next year.
Oh, have they?
Yeah, wonderful.
Oh, that's the week I'm on holiday.
Of course it is. You try it. Right, that's it from us. Keely's here with your late news. I'm going to go soak in some bath salts. Bye-bye.